All right, welcome back to MadTakeTv. I am here once again, joined by my boy Dre. I am Jeremy. We're here to
That is
talk
name.
about. I forgot my name for a second. It's the sweater. It made me think I was Mr.
No,
Rogers.
no, you a dang on Audi. You can't fool me.
Oh, there you go. Good segue. We're here to talk about Severance, episode 4. Kind of shooting from the hip, no notes. Just finished. Dre just finished the episode. I finished it about an hour ago. No rewatch. We're just gonna go for it and talk about it. So, anyway, episode 4 did not kick off the way that I thought it was going to. We started
It
off in
was
a
not a.
completely foreign environment.
It kind of throws you for a loop because I thought they had released episodes in the wrong order or something. Uh,
You know, I had an
that was
interesting thought about that anyway. Flip flop episode 1 and 2.
mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah, you could do that. This is this one
Yep.
took you off. This one kind of put you off balance right
Yeah,
from the beginning.
right from the beginning. So it's Irv. We open up with Irv standing on the
Lake
in the middle
looked
of
like
like
a
a
small lake
lake in
pond
the
or
middle of
something.
like Alaska or Wyoming or wherever the fuck they're at. It's winter as shit, and all of a sudden you just hear Mark yelling, like, "Hey!" So and they start yelling at each other where they're yelling at each other on the mountain. He tells them that there's a path and to come up, and he finds Helly along the way. And then when they get to the top, Dylan's at the top. He comes running out of the forest like, what did he say? Out fucking side.
Right. Dylan was
Right.
the first one to acknowledge that they were
Mm-hmm.
outside because, as a reminder for folks, these are people who have never seen the outside.
Well, he said, I knew there was no fucking ceiling, but this is
I knew there's no
insane.
ceiling, but damn, you know what I'm saying? Like, damn, the sky is super high up there.
And like, yeah, listen,
It's
and
crazy.
on the like the tier list of skies and how beautiful they are, he was in the middle of winter. It was just gray. That's not even like top 10 skies, like, right?
Right.
Like, and it
It's
was
like his
still
first time tasting ice
amazing to
cream.
them, right?
He got mint chocolate chip ice cream is the only ice cream he ever tasted, but to him it was phenomenal.
Right.
Sorry to all my mint chocolate chip lovers, but it's really trash.
Yeah, not a favorite. They always put the dark chocolate in there, and I don't like dark chocolate.
Yeah. Jeremy hates the dark.
You, yeah, let's clip it.
Hey, come on, you
Let's
you
clip
teed
it.
that one up.
I did. And you know what? As soon as I said it, I was like, "Wait, is he gonna brush past this?" And I was like, "No, no, he's not."
He hates dark chocolate. And he want to make that known as soon
Right,
as possible. The first
right.
week of Black History Month.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah,
Listen, we like what we like, and we're from where we're
hey, listen,
from.
you in the right timeline for that. But
No
listen,
shit, right?
it was.
It's not that kind
I
of
just want to
podcast,
make a
straight.
real quick commentary on them being outside.
Mm-hmm.
The first thought that I had, I don't know what you thought, but the very first thought I had was simulation. There's no way in hell they outside for real.
That's exactly the same
That's
thing.
what I
Like
thought.
that. Okay, so I won't. I will. I watch it with my wife. I will credit my wife's thoughts where they are due. She was the first one to be like, they got to be like still in the Lumen building, right? And I was
Yeah.
like, yeah. I was like, so it's either one of two things. They're like inside of a giant fucking room. Like they found like the goat room was like a huge room that there was like
Hmm.
25 people hiding in that they didn't see, you know? Like you didn't get a sense of size of that room. I watched it again and I was like, this room is fucking huge. Like when they walk in
Yeah,
the
it was.
door and they show the door, it's like, oh, okay, holy shit. So like we know what they're capable of as far as that kind of thing. So she was like, they're in the building or some sort of, like program. I was like, yeah, but we haven't really seen like that sort of like technology. Like we
Right.
know
Well,
they have
yeah,
technology, but we haven't seen that sort of it. So
yeah, because
I'm
it's hinted at, but it's not really. I don't know. I think like, okay, so we talking about the possibility of them still being in the building versus being in the actual outside versus my semi theory of them being in some sort of simulation. And the only reason why I lean toward the simulation thing is because what happens in the very next scene on in the same setting when they look off on the cliff and they see the television with the TV stand. And when they turn it on, you see there's a video and this mill chick explaining what this is, what protocol it is. I cannot remember the exact acronym, but it's something about team building, exercise,
Ortbo.
and or yeah, something like yeah. So my thing was, why was he glitching in the video?
Dude, it was so creepy. The video
It
was
felt like they were trying to give you, the viewer, the impression that this is maybe not real. Because like, what would be the benefit of that for the innies? Is what I'm saying. Like, I think they have enough technology where we can assume they can make a smooth video.
I think it was like he was like glitching, but it was more like it was like I don't know, like edited. You ever watch a YouTube video of somebody talking and they do that kind of thing, but you just see where they like cut some stuff out, to make it
Yeah,
shorter.
well, it
I
gave
don't
it
know,
gave me
man, but it was super.
Max Headroom.
Yeah, a little bit.
It's,
I didn't. Was there a lot of like glitching going on?
it was not glitching like an error in a video as much as it was glitching in the way where it's like skips, like he would talk and then they wouldn't pan in, there wouldn't be a zoom, he would just talk and then the camera would be right here and then it's right here. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah. Okay.
it was like it's
Max
almost as
headroom
that
vibes.
they was doing it to throw you off balance.
I would also like to point out that that was like a DVD player.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I want to say before when he like wheeled the TV in and put like it was like a cassette tape, right? Like it's like back in season 1 when like he like showed Helly the tape. Like I don't know for
Hmm.
sure, but like I'm pretty sure it wasn't like a DVD player. This was like an old school DVD player, and like even had the
Yeah.
menu. It said play video, like, and he picked up the remote and hit play. You know, because it was on like the menu. Remember all like old school like DVD menu
Hmm.
screens?
No, it was 100% set up just like a DVD.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. It goes back to what we was talking about in the last episode, which is placing a timeline, and the ambiguity of the timeline is it's not like a or a time period. It's not. It's clearly done on purpose, obviously, but it's you remember the cartoon Archer?
I mean, yeah.
So Archer did the thing where they was ambiguous about the time period, and they would always like make self-referential jokes about it because the theme of the show was like 60s spy 007 type shit, but
Yeah, he always
they
had like
just
super
didn't.
high technology always and
Right,
shit.
but
Yeah.
they didn't always want to just they didn't want to pigeonhole themselves there. But that was done for the benefit of the show and not wanting to like tell you what time period they in. In this case, in this show, I feel like I don't think the audience would care what time period this takes place in. So they doing it for a reason other than, the audience's curiosity. It feels like it's something that's done to show that they have technology beyond what they're actually showing, but the people in this town, I'm just gonna say town. The people in this town don't know it. I feel like everybody's a captive at this point.
Yeah, the
Still my
innies are well, the innies are all captive. They've
well, the
like
Indians are captive, yeah. But I
right.
feel like people in the town are captive as well. I feel like I could be
Yeah, you
wrong,
said
but
you said that last time though that like we haven't seen anybody leave this town or anybody even really outside of this town. I did go back to the last that when my wife watched episode 3 to watch that
mhm,
last scene where we were talking about like looking up at the
right,
building. I definitely didn't see anything behind them.
nothing there,
It's
right.
really blurred out. I didn't see. any. I was like watching. I went back like 4 times or rewound it and watched it. I didn't see any movement or any nothing behind the two. Oh, the only thing that happens in that scene is that dude steps from out of focus into focus. So I don't know what I don't. It's still a mystery as to what scared Kobelvig away.
Spoiler alert! I was there waiting for her to come back in because she had left something. But no,
Right.
but yeah, no. But yeah. So they saw the video. In the video, he introduced this protocol, this training exercise they were on, and told them that they would have some help along the path and stay on the path. Basically, stay on the path. You're gonna have some help out here, and also he introduced a new character, which is a new character to the lore of this pseudo religion that they follow in this company, which is Kier Egan's twin brother. And why did I just lose the name?
Dieter.
Dieter
Dieter is the
Egan.
name. Dieter Egan.
And they was like, Dieter? Who the hell is Dieter? No, Dieter is the twin brother of Kier Egan. And
I was trying to
that
look
started
for that.
some of the show.
I was trying to look for that transcript actually, because that was a really like when they were sitting around the campfire. And I know we're skipping around like and not going through like scene by scene. Like if you go to Screen Crush or go to New Rock Stars, like they do all that. Like we're just kind of
No,
discussing our
stay
thoughts
here.
and
We'll
stuff on
do
it.
all
Yeah,
that. We'll do it eventually. Just stay with us.
yeah. Well, whatever. We'll get there. But like that was a really
There's no other way to
weird.
say it.
That was a really strange fucking story that he told about a dude transforming into a tree or something like that. But then what as we know, or Helena gets it as is somebody jerking off, and I didn't understand. I really didn't. Like
Okay.
I went back and watched it again to try to understand where she pulled that from.
Well, it wasn't at the part where he was reading. It was on the part where Irv was reading that he talked about masturbation. He said he spilled his essence. Um,
Oh, I'm omitting the original chapter that Irv was reading. Then
Irv,
okay, so
Irv was
that's
reading when he said he spilled his essence. When he said he was watching his brother, and he became an instrument of nature, and nature played him like basically they ran away. The
okay. So
story.
I hyper focused on the second story. Then go ahead. I'm
Right.
sorry.
So the story as it was told was not Irving,
Kier.
Kier Egan and Dieter Egan both decided to run away. And when they ran away, they were out in the forest, they were out in the woods, and they were out and they were free.
So, but Dieter convinced Kier to go with him out into the woods, right?
Dieter had
Right.
the free spirit,
Okay.
you'll see the theme of the story is clearly they showing you in essence, you will be punished for thinking freely. So Dieter was a free spirit. He told Kier, "Let's go out." Kier just listened to his brother. They went out, and Dieter was out there beating his meat and just out there in the streets. And eventually, he got
Spreading
to
his
come.
essence, like you
Right,
said.
he was spreading his essence everywhere. His was funny about it when Milchick started reading his portion of the chapter. The death of Dieter Egan reminded me of a poem I read. I want to give away my age, but about 35 years ago. And this poem was called Thanatopsis. Thanatopsis was about basically the death and decomposition. And I don't know why, but it felt like the combination of Thanatopsis and the biblical scripture about onanism, which is it's against the Christian law to spill your seed to the earth. You're not supposed to. All your sexual congress is supposed to be going towards making children. If you masturbate or just even if you having sex and you
I get
want to
it.
be
Yeah.
too, but if you use the method, you supposed to be that's supposed to be a sin. So I thought it was cool that they kind of leaned on both of those things, but I thought it was given where the story went after that, they kind of spelled out what this is about now, and I think they spoiled it for the people who really pay attention. I think that the story about him out there spilling his seed and dying because of it, mixed with the fact that Helly and Mark, their later activities, it almost appears as though that was the whole purpose. I think they need him for some kind of procreation type of situation. That might have something to do with Cold Harbor. It might be the beginning of the Cold Harbor thing. I don't know. I'm just taking wild guesses based on what they're showing me.
Okay, so here, this is just kind of like, think about it this way. Like you said, the Lumen building, they
Hmm.
go in there, they go in the elevator, they become innies, right?
Hmm.
Okay. So there's innies, there's outies. The outies are all they're just I'm trying to figure out how to explain it. They're another layer of it. They're innies as well. There's somebody outside, like you said, they're trapped in there. I don't know, maybe if they're not innies, maybe there's another level of it, maybe, but there's somebody outside of this town and this is some sort of simulation or experiment or something like that. But we haven't actually seen the real outside world in this world yet, type of thing. Like we're gonna get some sort of kind of like a little bit of like a Matrix type of moment, type of thing. You know what I'm saying? Where you wake up, you're like, oh, this is the world. This is the actual world. I don't expect it to look anything like that. I expect it to look very, very drab and like the rest of the show has looked. But like, I don't know, just something to
I'm
think about.
curious. I'm curious. Do you? I can't recall right now, but do you remember? Wasn't there something special about Mark's sister and Rickon uh, in their pregnancy?
Yeah, in the okay, yes. Some I don't remember exactly what that was, but that also comes back to like the lactation fraud being like just a common turn of phrase that
Yeah,
like there's something weird about procreating or maybe it's fucked or it's wrong or it's broken or something in this world that people can't have
yeah.
babies or can't
Now I
have them
want to
very often.
now I want to add to my last episode, our first episode, but the last episode that I spoke on my theory of this being some sort of um otherworldly thing where it's like off planet, maybe on some kind of colony ship or something of that sort. I just added to that theory and I just wanted to be on record. Hear me out, I'll get closer. If an any is half of a consciousness, a half conscious being having a child, would that child be a perfect vessel if you were trying to bring back your brother?
If you were trying to bring back who?
Your brother, Dieter Egan, or yourself, Kier Egan, or whatever the hell it is you're trying to do. Using people as vessels has always been a common theme in like alien type movies.
Well, even with like movies with like the people who are like super rich and powerful and misuse technology to nefarious ends, such as that, like where they want to like live forever or whatever. Yeah,
Mhm.
okay, we've seen. Okay, I could get behind that. Because we see the
I
super weird old fucking man Egan that's losing his fetid moppet guy. Like
yeah, bit.
he, I mean, I don't remember how much he had to say in the last season, but I know it wasn't a lot. I know we saw him last season,
Right.
but
No, I just wanted to just throw that out there. We ain't got to
no.
discuss it too deeply, but I just want to get that one on record so I'll know if I'm on the right track when we 2, 3 episodes down the road. But I think this has something to do with fertility and possibly using people as vessels
Okay.
and given the opportunity to copulate with an any. I don't feel like outside Helly or outie Helly. I don't feel like she would it would you could just boil that down to her wanting to be like, you know, in a physical relationship.
That or or she was just trying to stay undercover, man. I don't know.
No,
She
but
was
it
just
just felt
going with it.
weird
It did
because
feel
like when we
weird.
were just talking that Milchick was sitting there and he's doing this presentation.
Right.
So I mean, we'll skip ahead a little bit, but we know ultimately that we were right that Helly was actually not severed.
Right.
But well, she's still severed, but she wasn't her it was the Audi Helly that was in it.
Okay, so I was
So
mistaken when I said that she wasn't severed. More what I meant is that she wasn't Helly while she was there is basically what I
right,
was saying. So
right.
yeah, we were
She
wrong.
was
She's still severed.
right,
You're
she's still
totally
severed.
right.
The
Yeah.
process has already taken place, but
Right.
she just had the so pretty much
The glass glow block.
so why was she what would be the motivation for undercutting the seriousness of this story that Milchick is reading? Like I'm trying to think of the motive. You know what I mean? Like Milchick is reading this story is of great consequence. This is their Bible. This is their whole thought process behind everything they do.
But also the fourth. Like this is stuff they've all read the first three. What were they called?
Right.
Chronicles or chapters or whatever. This is this is the fourth one. Like nobody gets to see this. Is basically what Milchek was saying.
Yeah. Like y'all never even heard of this before, but it was a
Right.
fourth.
Right. He did. Yeah. He made a fourth before on his deathbed. Basically, is what he was saying. And so yeah, this is like that much more important. Like their Bible, their fucking like the uh, the hidden chapters. You know what I'm saying? The hidden verse.
I'm listening. I'm trying to get information as we talking.
Yeah, I was doing the same thing. I was looking up
Yeah. Here Egan's four tempers.
the tempers. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
I want to say that's not what he called it, but yeah, you're probably right. If
Yeah,
you
no,
looked it
it's
up, I wasn't right.
definitely it.
Okay.
Yeah, four tempers. Woe, frolic, dread, and malice.
Oh, those are the four tempers. There was something else though. It was like there's four books, like the four. There was three books that everybody gets. This is the one that nobody gets. Right? Is that how I was to take it?
Right, right, right. He tamed the fourth temper when they enter the cave, but yeah, let's keep on. We don't want empty air.
No, you're right. Yeah.
But no,
So like okay, so they watch the video. They they turn around and they see weird wax statue Mark, who points them in a direction. You know,
mhm.
because Milchek said there'd be help along the way. They traveled through the snow. And they end up. Who did they see next?
The next person was Helly.
Helly, right? Okay, and then the third person they saw was Dylan. But they were
Right.
all weird. They were off. It was like that. What do you call it?
Dylan kind of like leaned to the side to do the point in the direction because they all every time they saw one of the doppelgangers, they were pointing in the direction to lead them on a path.
To
Mark
lead
kind
them.
of did his almost normally.
Right.
Helly was a little off, but Dylan kind of really leaned to like he didn't know how to use his arms or something.
But they purposely made them look. They could have easily used the actors. Well, they probably did use the actors for those, but they purposely made them look like wax people. Did they
Yeah, they
not?
didn't look like
They
full
didn't
people.
look. They could have just used the normal people. There was some reason they looked. What is the term for it, Dre? There's a term for that.
Uncanny.
There you go, uncanny valley. That gives you that weird, creepy feeling when you see this because it's just a little off. Like their faces were out of focus. They looked like they were like not real, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just a really strange. And we didn't see Irv until they were at the waterfall.
Right, they
Irv
never
didn't.
had him lead them anyway. He was just
No.
standing there with the rest of the group.
Right. When they were at the top of the waterfall looking down on everybody. And then
Oh,
so yeah,
oh,
Milchek
yeah.
introduces them to the Woe's Hollow. So basically saying you're on sacred ground here, you know. You got something to say? What was you?
No, no, I'm listening. I'm with
Oh,
you. I'm just reading as you talking. But no,
yeah. So
first
that's
of
when
all,
we get to the campfire and the weird story.
real quick aside, websites. I need this to be clear to you. You many thousands of you might never see this message. I don't care if you want me to subscribe to your website. If you cut the screen off while I'm reading to get me to subscribe or turn off my ad blocker, I'm never coming back to your site. There's far too many free sites on the planet to be paying for internet type shit. And I'm not even paying with my time, i.e., ad revenue. Continue, Jeremy.
Right.
Sorry.
No, agreed with all that bullshit. Yeah, I hate
It's
those
the
sites.
dumbest shit in the
It's
world. Like,
just
what are
like
you,
how
you gonna
like
charge
how
me?
even like how like not to go off on a tangent, but how just like often do you really just go to like a website anymore? Like most of it, you just like on an app or on YouTube, or you just go to like a reg. You don't go to like I don't know.
It's
Anyways,
kind of like if you went to a newspaper stand and you open up the newspaper in order to read the story, like a motherfucker just popped out and put his hand over the paper, like, give me a dollar.
yeah,
Give me a dollar,
basically,
you can't read this
right,
article. It's like, please, I don't. What the fuck are you doing? Like, people so stupid. But anyway,
right. So
um,
they run into Milchek. He explains kind of what's going on, and then leads them to like the little campsite or whatever before it gets cold. Tells them that it's like everything you need is here. 4-ply fucking toilet paper. What is 4-ply toilet paper?
my wife was so impressed with that.
4-ply. Yeah, she's looking
Um,
for it. She's got it ordered on
oh
Amazon
no, no,
already.
no, 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 no. She was impressed because of how much it might cost. She doesn't. I don't want to get too. That's too personal. But the point is, she's a, she's a she's an advocate for non-thick toilet paper because she think it damages
The
she
pipes.
think thick toilet paper damages your plumbing. So no, I just she just when she heard for apply, she reacted like it made her perk up and start watching again. It's not her show, it's my show, and I just happened to be
Right.
watching it next to her, and she that caught her attention
The
quickly.
4-ply toilet. Was wild. Yeah, that was
Full toilet paper outside. They had torches. They had a fire pit.
But the explanation of a torch from Milchek, like what? Like it's like a source of light, but also heat. Like it was like
Yeah,
this weird, like what the fuck is? And then I'm
but did
thinking to
you see
myself,
that
these people don't
Dylan
know
reacted?
what a torch is.
Yeah, Dylan reacted to it like, "Oh shit, that's tight. That's
Yeah,
dope." You know?
it's so weird to think about what they know and what they don't know to be able to function inside of a building in an office building and do a job, but don't know what the sky or a torch is, or camping
Yeah.
or
Well, think
outside.
about it.
It's so
We skipped
weird.
ahead. We skipped ahead a small scene before they got to the campsite. They when they were traveling on their own before they met up with Milchick, they found some sort of decomposing either we couldn't tell if it was an animal, a person. It was
My wife thought it was a
decomposing.
pig. Mark called it a seal.
Mark said a seal,
Right. But
but nobody really knows
knows, right.
the state of
It was
decomposition.
very it was
It was just
very
there. It was huge.
intentionally
Yeah.
ambiguous.
My first thought was a bear, but it looked blurry as shit. And
Mm.
unfortunately, I've seen a lot of dead animals. Maybe they look like that when it's water running over it and it's constantly freezing. It
Or
could
it's
give it that
cold, or
sort
like
of,
the sun hits it during the day and like thaws
yeah,
it
it
and
could give
then
it that
freezes
appearance.
overnight.
It's
Yeah.
a possibility.
Sure.
But then Irving says, let's eat it.
Oh, I missed that.
Yeah, Irving just shouted
Ugh.
out, let's eat it. And
Because he was
and
hungry.
Helly looked at him. Helly looked at him like, what the hell is wrong with you? And well, actually, all three of them looked at him like, what the hell is wrong with you? And he was like, what? I'm starving. We don't know if there'll be food when we get to the hollow. So
Oh,
what if
right.
we
Yeah,
don't
they were
have
unsure of what was going on at that point.
right?
Yeah.
And then Dylan remarked, look, man, they can't let nothing happen to us. You know what I'm saying? So it's got to be some food because they can't let anything happen to us. You know,
Because we're on the clock basically, right? Yeah,
right?
we can't.
We're at work. This is a company. You know,
Right. So again, that brings up the question of were they in the building or not? Because like for these people to go to work, they have to go there and get in that elevator. And then the elevator opens up and boom. This time they just woke up somewhere else. Like
yeah.
how
And
is
my
that
question to
possible?
you is
Do they knock them out in
is
the elevator, move them to the spot, then wake them up? Do they have that kind of control over them?
well, we gonna have to get back to that when we get to the end because what I have to say relates to that. So
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. So the luxury meats were offered.
Why did he say luxury meats?
Why did he say luxury meats?
Please help me with that.
Well,
Because as soon
again,
as
I
he
think
said
that
it,
comes back to like what's going on in the world or whatever world they're living in. Like,
all right.
yeah, pregnancy's a problem, food's scarce. Maybe it's fucking winter all the time. Maybe they're in fucking Florida and we just don't realize it yet.
Did they ever show anything about the show where it was warm outside?
No, dude, everything. It's always been winter.
And we know at least 5 months have passed. There's nowhere on the planet that is cold.
Yeah, there is.
Where?
Alaska.
Alaska? Eh,
That's what it
Yeah.
feels like to me, bro. Like I've never been to Alaska, but like
Maybe,
anything like
maybe.
and that's what it feels like to me. It feels like that's what Alaska would be like. I'm telling you, the whole first season, everything was in wintertime.
No, it was 100% cold. But where is
This
Severance filmed? They film it in New York and New Jersey, so that doesn't really help you out
no,
with regards to getting a setting on where it
New
takes
York's a
place.
pretty big state, so there could be a lot of like small little shitty towns like that all over the place where they can film this crazy show. But yeah, anyway, so we don't like we said we're really uncertain about what the state of the world is if we're even seeing the actual outside world at this point. You know what I'm saying? Like we're not even really sure of that. So
Yeah,
so
no,
like
not
I
at all.
just like so like him bringing up luxury meats was a weird indication that there's something different about this world, or it's in a not so distant future where there like shit has gone horribly wrong
Also,
and people have turned to corporations like religions.
let's also applaud the show for reflecting reality for anybody who's ever worked a corporate job. I know a lot of jobs do like company retreats and um, pizza parties and stuff like that, but in the corporate setting,
And these usually either take place during the summer when it's warm outside,
yeah.
or
But
they like go
in a
to like a
corporate,
resort or something like that. Very, very rarely does
yeah,
it take place somewhere like that, like they're
yeah.
in.
But what I'm saying is the reflection of reality. Like when I used to work for corporate in downtown Chicago, whenever we had some kind of special training exercises, it would always be they would order out some of the best restaurants from downtown Chicago and bring in some really good food because they were looking for us to it was usually around the time when it was some kind of union uproar or something like that. So it just reminded me of that because they did have a uprising. They did reveal the state of the Indies to the world. They basically had a strike,
Well,
and now
there was also an uprising that they talked about in the first season happening. They had paintings and shit of, remember?
yeah, about the other, yeah, but those people, I think they killed each other or some shit. I don't think they
Yeah,
had an
they started.
uprising against the company. They had an uprising against the other
Was it
department.
like a department versus department thing? Is
Yeah,
that
it
what
was
it
like a
was? You
department
remember the
battle or something.
little remember the little cards that they found with like the self defense move illustrated on them?
Hmm. Yeah, those people was going to war down there. But that's what I'm saying. So I like the fact that they kind of, even though they're telling a unique story, they still make it kind of feel reflective of a lot of people's reality, like that cubicle desk job type of
Yeah,
environment.
yeah.
I
They
worked in a cubicle just like that with the little wall and the computer and shit, and you're supposed to sit there and do this menial, mindless task. And then when corporate come in, they like, okay, such and such is about to run for president, and a lot of things gonna change, and let's do this exercise. And here's these fucking Italian beef sandwiches from, you know what I'm saying? It's
right.
like
Yeah,
that shit used to happen, and I thought that was cool that they kind of did that.
you're
But
revealing our location by saying Italian beef sandwiches.
yeah, this is true. Well, I mean, they know where I
At
am.
least our general location. Yeah,
Yeah, they
you're in a downtown mall in Japan.
right. I'm definitely on the 14th floor of the building that Batman kidnapped that Japanese guy from in
right, right.
the Dark Knight movie. But
Anyway, yeah. So back to Severance. All right. So after the camp, the weird campsite, Irv, they start having a discussion, and he won't. He's like a dog with a bone. He won't let it go. He knows Helly is not Helly. This
yeah,
man is aware of it. Nobody else believes him. He's been trying to tell him, and they think he's crazy. So he confronts her in front of everybody around a fire. This is after they laughed at Mr. Milchek. She made the
and Mil-
masturbation joke that we discussed at the beginning,
and,
and
Mil-
he
and
got
Milton
mad and went to
told
bed. Oh, and he
Mrs. Wong to throw all the marshmallows out
threw him,
into the fire.
throw him in a fire. Oh, come on, Mr. Milchek. He was, dude. He reminded me of his Parks and Rec character there
But
when he was
did
like
you catch,
laughing.
did you catch that reference? I can't remember what movie it came from, but when Dylan was complaining and Milchick was like, the marshmallows are for good employees.
Yeah,
No, that was
like an
that
Office
was a
Space
famous
reference.
line. Famous line when somebody said something about coffee is for closers. Somebody had asked for coffee or something like that. It was trying to put
Was
in
it
a coffee.
Boiler Room or something?
It might have been Boiler Room. I was thinking about that. It was one of the first ones I thought, but I can't remember exactly. I am indescript age old. But yeah, yeah, he tossed all the marshmallows. And then when he left with Mrs. Wong,
The marshmallows, to make a note, were very, very nice looking, and they had a little monogram of Kier imprinted on them.
and they were square marshmallow.
They were square. They're like homemade
Very,
marshmallows. Those things looked
yeah,
fire. I don't even like
yeah,
marshmallows, but I wanted to eat one.
yeah, yeah.
I was mad at Miss Swang for throwing them in the fire.
She,
She was
oh,
only following
speaking of,
instructions, so I was mad at
let,
Mr. Milchek.
let's not let's not skip over that part too. That's important.
Okay.
Miss Wong once again showed you that she's still a little girl because when they was talking about when Milchick was describing the uses of a torch, she did react and she laughed too, and she said, "Yeah, cool, right?"
So do you think she is severed?
I don't know. Now I think it's up in the air. I think it's
It's.
up in the air. I think she's part of the corporate structure, and Milchick wasn't severed. Sylvie,
I don't think Natalie is severed either.
Right. I don't think she's severed.
These
So
are
no,
people
I
that are
don't.
like
I don't
on the
know.
clock like all the time. Like Mr.
Yeah.
Milchek was like riding his motorcycle around, going to employees' houses in the middle of the night. Like, you worked all day, bruh, and then you was there in the morning when we got there.
Yeah. Yeah. That is something I did think about. Like this is a full obligation. Like it's a religion. It's a cult.
I think it's to that point where they're dedicated no matter what. Because like, what is she? They're coming out of the parking lot. Helly in the last episode, Helly just picks up the phone and dials Natalie, and like Natalie instantly picks up
Right.
because she's the like put me on with the board right there in the middle. Like this is not work hours, you know. So you're right.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think anybody that communicates like that outside of that work hour isn't severed. You know what I'm saying? Anybody that works on
Mm-hmm.
behalf of the company during the time that the innies are not there is not severed.
So there has to be a reason. Okay. Well. Okay. Back to this.
Okay.
They tossed the marshmallows.
Right.
Helly is still laughing about the whole masturbation thing. Mark is laughing with her. Irving is unimpressed with this. He doesn't think it's funny, and this is when he gets to the part you was talking about,
Where he
which
confronts
is
her. Yeah.
confronting Helly about what she actually saw, because um, he did give her some significant looks before that,
Yeah. Oh, he's been staring
and
her down since
yeah,
since they got there. Right.
yeah. So, but he definitely he confronted her in the way he did it. He didn't say, "I don't think you're Helly," or "You saw something. You lied about what you saw." He said, "Tell us about the night gardener."
The night gardener. Right.
Because what he's doing and when he does it is a cool way of confronting her, because it's confronting her without directly like saying you lying, but he's demonstrating the ridiculousness of your claim.
Right.
Did he have a flashlight?
What color was
Did
his
did he
shirt?
have a shiny vest on?
Right.
A bright colored vest? Like, like why was he out gardening that night to be able to, talk to you and help you out? Like that doesn't make sense. And they got mad, he got mad, and he got up and walked off with his torch and took off for the forest.
Right. And then what did so he took off while Dylan went to bed. And
Helly went
of
to
course,
bed.
Mark. I was. Why did I find it creepy that he kind of like followed her in the tent?
Yeah, Mark didn't get no fuck.
And he wasn't like, yeah, because he wasn't invited. He just kind of
No, she
followed her.
didn't
She
stick her head
seemed a
out like, "Hey,
little
Mark, let me talk to you," or nothing.
right,
He just
right.
popped in like, "Look here, bitch, we about
And
to do this."
I think that she decided at that moment she was like, all right, I'm gonna have to do this to keep cover.
Nope.
No, you don't think she did what she
Nope.
did to keep cover?
Let's go back to the third episode
Okay.
when they were showing the videos of Mark and Helly kissing, not in the inside the ninth floor or the whatever training room they had with the videos, not the severed people watching it. When they showed Audi Helly watching that footage from the security camera in the way she looked at it when her and Mark was standing by the elevator and they kissed right before they jumped on the elevator to go execute their plan.
Right.
She looked like, I kind of want to know what that's like. Like she had it either it that's what I thought when I
Okay.
first saw it. But I'm thinking now she thought, not only do I want to know what that's like, but I could also use that relationship to manipulate him.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm
Like
trying to figure
we
out
can
what
put
her
him.
purposes are gonna be. Like, why is she doing this? You think it's
Oh
just be try to impress dad? Try to stay in
no,
dad's good graces?
I don't think so. They haven't shown anybody to have that sort of emotional attachment to anything yet. It could be though. I can't say no because it could be,
Well,
but I don't
Mark
think.
to his dead wife.
Yeah, but he almost didn't even fucking care. And Eddie Mark stopped caring the minute he thought he was gonna get some coochie.
Like
Like
instantly.
instantly, like it was that shit was over. But speaking of his dead wife, that's what I was about to say.
Go ahead.
That was the moment
I didn't mean to
that I knew
derail
she
you.
was an outie
Okay.
because she looked at him and she said, "I'm sorry, I'm distracting you." And he was like, "Distracting me from what?" And she was like, "From your wife, for looking for your wife,
Right.
not your outie's wife,
Right.
looking for your wife." I was like, "Oh yeah, that's she a outie. She a outie. That's her. That's the chick." It was a done deal at that
Well, you
point.
had
I
also
said,
said that she put off a big clue too, like when even Irv picked up on it when he said there's no way, or there's no way she'd have been that mean. There's no
"Oh
way
yeah,
she
yeah,
Helly
no,
would have
yeah."
been
When
that
she was
cruel.
being mean, that was definitely the one. That was that. It's like she was being mean. She was being subordinate, and again, the way she spoke about things, she really kind of
I
Helly in the
want
first season wanted to get the fuck out of there.
to.
That's
Right.
all she wanted to do. Helly R wanted to get out of there. This Helly in this season has been enamored with Mark and fascinated with him. If you notice, every scene they shoot it differently now. Almost no matter what's going on, she like looks at him
Right.
like she's fascinated. It's like she's looking at him like it's a TV show. You know what I mean? Like you could tell. I mean, the clues was there, but we had suspicions, but it's all confirmed now.
Right.
Helly is a bitch.
So I just want to point out her that and I did. I just looked to the left and I looked her name up. Her name is Britt Lower, the actress. Man,
Hmm.
like shout out, like for like killing this part. She's like playing. She was playing Helly R, and then playing the Egan, and then she had to play the Egan girl pretending to be Helly R. That shit is
Right.
like a mind fuck in and of itself to just even think about what kind of mental space you got to put yourself in as an actor or actress to be like do that. And there was like certain points too where they like them close ups where like her and Irv were looking at each other and there was all that tension. And you saw her face change. You saw her go from Helly R to Helly or
She
to
did. She was
Helena.
about to tell him. She
And
was
then
about to
and
tell
then
him.
she turned it back off. Like it was like, man, it's like
It
she did
was for a
all that
second
with
there.
her face. With they did
For a second there, she was almost about to say, "You stupid filthy idiot! Don't you ever speak to me."
right. Yeah, that's it, yeah, she the facial acting in this show is phenomenal.
I think if given a chance, she would probably credit Eddie Murphy for his work on the Nutty Professor movies.
Okay,
I,
I
I
mean,
had to throw it out there. It was a pretty good joke. Top three jokes of this episode. No. Oh yeah,
top
she a
three.
cutie pie too. We'll probably give her a sandwich or two. She'll be all right. Couple sandwiches in her, she'll be all right. But yeah, continue, Ray. So Mark goes in. He decides it's time to get it cracking. But I'm gonna ease my way into this thing after bullying my way into the tent.
Right.
He did not ask for permission to zip the tent up because he already kind of knew she was good to go. Um, so he went on and zipped the tent up. They started talking. She brought up his wife. I can't even remember what his response was, but it was kind of like a brush off, like, man, don't worry about that shit.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, she's not here. Like, it
Right?
was
I don't
right.
see no wives in this motherfucker. So Mark
It
was
was
like,
a,
yeah,
but
it's
also
time to get
like,
it cracked.
and listen, I'm not trying to, give him excuses or whatever, but like, he doesn't know his wife.
He don't know her.
Any Mark doesn't know who that is. Really, he knows it's
No.
Miss Casey and knows there's some mystery behind it, but like, he has
Right,
no
and
emotional
they never showed
attachment
him to
to.
have any kind of attraction or relationship to Miss Casey. You
Well, they
know,
had the weird thing with the wellness where they were at meeting, but like, I don't know.
oh yeah, she did used to ask him like weird sexual questions and shit.
Well, they were in that weird tree room, the wellness department.
Yeah, but I remember one some of her questions like a little bit like a little inappropriate.
Man, again, this is where
I gotta go back and watch it.
the rewatch of the
Yeah, I gotta
season
go
one
back
would
and
have been
rewatch.
helpful.
But I feel like that. I feel like that, but feelings hardly are ever right. But okay.
Right.
Not a. Usually, you gotta be over here looking at pictures. Sorry, but anyway, so yeah, they go ahead and they get it cracking. So
Right.
while they get it cracking, we juxtapose that love making scene with Irving walking out in the wilderness alone. He trips,
His torch goes out.
extinguishes. Before he trips, he's yelling out for Mr. Milchick. I think he's calling for Mr. Milchick because he's trying to get Milchick to come and switch Helly back at that point already. He's already convinced that this is not Helly. I need Milchick back
So you
here.
think
I'm
you
not
think
dealing with this shit.
okay, you think he was trying to pull like he was trying to
Yeah,
get Milchek
yeah,
to come and
yeah, because he wasn't lost because they didn't even show it. It was like when he got up in the morning, it was no scene of him like wandering around and he just happened upon. So it
I
wasn't
don't
a,
think he
like
made
I'm
it that
lost.
far.
Yeah, he didn't really go that far. So it's
Right.
like ultimately it was just him calling for Milchick
Well,
because I need you to come and handle this.
and
He-
they were all within shouting distance, honestly.
yeah,
Cuz like
yeah,
you could
and
yeah.
and
So
and
which
he
also brings
tripped.
us to the maybe they're in a fucking basement.
Yeah, maybe it's just one big room with weather effects and shit. He trips and he puts the torch out on
Right?
accident. At which point, my wife said, um, "I said if your torch went out like that, you don't have the light, you don't have the heat anymore." And he was told not to leave the path. I At that point, I was expecting it to be some kind of consequence environmentally to him, like wandering off. They didn't go that route, as this show never does. It never goes where you expect it to go.
Never.
He
Yeah, he
just
woke up,
laid
slept
down on
outside
the
all night. He was fine.
yeah he laid down on a rock and pretty much just looked up at the moon and went to sleep. Now, I asked my wife, "What would you do if you lost your torch out there in the cold like that?" And she said, "I would probably just lay there until the morning." And I said, "I would probably just turn around and look at my footprints and follow them back to where the fuck I came from."
That's what I said. I said to my, I
Right.
said at
That's
least
what,
I said there should only be one set of footprints. He would be able to just
yeah,
follow him back.
you the only one that's out there. Follow
Now,
the footprint.
however, we're looking at a a moonlit area that's also studio lit, so they can film it. The woods in the dark is pretty fucking dark. It might be harder to find your footprints, But also the snow, I don't know. Yeah,
You're
that's the
fine.
first thing I would have
You're
done.
fine.
It's the first thing I would have done was turn around and look for
Yeah,
my
I would have tried
footprints
to
to
go
walk
back. I
back.
would have
Yeah,
tried to go back, but
right.
Irving didn't want to go back. He was upset, and I
Hmm.
thought it was a giving up moment, but it wasn't really a giving up moment. It was I'm going to enjoy the outside.
Well,
That's what
and
it.
also a night's sleep.
Yeah. It-
Think
Remember,
about it.
audience, these people don't know what sleep is.
Like, well, we had the thing where Irving was like falling asleep during work because
Right.
Audi was staying up all night, like painting. So
Mm-hmm.
Irving was falling asleep at work and he was tired all day and he couldn't figure out why he was so tired. But yeah, they don't get to go to sleep and wake up in the morning. That's not
Yeah.
how their
And
life works. So yeah, I think that was
this
probably
was technically Mark and
Helly.
Dylan's first
Oh,
time experiencing
oh
it.
yeah, right. Experience a night's sleep is crazy. Like like a full like 8 hours. They
Right,
don't know
waking
what
up
that
refreshed.
means.
Right, waking up refreshed, feeling good.
Right.
Yeah,
Especially after
that
getting
was
laid.
trippy to think
That's
about.
also a good feeling. Going to sleep and waking up after getting some.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I'm surprised he didn't manifest a cigarette. But
Right.
just here we go.
Like,
But
where'd you get
no,
that?
so Irving went to sleep. Irving had a Irving style nightmare. Irving has been having nightmares since the very first episode
Right.
of the show. This time he's at his cubicle again. Well, his cubicle was off in a clearing. He walks up to it. He sits down at the desk, and once he gets on the computer, somebody's hand comes up over the wall of the cubicle, lowers it,
Not
and
just any
it's
hand. The hand of the great Christopher Walken.
That's Gert Beat Crow. That's the King of New York. That's Frank White's hand. Christopher Walken, who needs more cowbell always,
Always.
makes his second cameo of the season he just looks at
But
him,
whose name is
gives
in
him
the
like,
credits?
oh
Oh,
yeah, he gonna stay in
another
the credit.
interesting point. We didn't get an opener. This was
No, we didn't.
literally a cold open,
Yeah, they just went nice,
and it just
nice.
yeah, and it just went, and then they just put the title up on the screen. We never got like the animated opening.
Oh yeah, and I appreciate. We're not complaining. I appreciate it. Give me more story.
Oh
They
yeah,
know
no, that's
what's
fine.
important.
It's a long
Yeah,
opener, it is, but like, and they needed it to finish
yeah,
this episode. I think they needed
yeah.
that whatever 30 seconds to a minute that opener is to finish this up properly.
Yeah, they definitely gave us all. They gave us a lot to think about. But Christopher Walken, his character in Irving's Green,
Puts the screen down. Yeah,
he lowers the screen. He gives him a look, puts the screen back up. Irving is hearing some typing going on. He looks over to his left, and there's the small petite bride from the story about Keir and
right,
Dieter Egan that they were reading about earlier, especially specifically in the part that Milchick was reading.
right.
And she's working away obsessively. She's like her head is darting side to side. She looks slightly decomposed, not decomposed,
She's
malnutrition.
what, like half the size of a normal woman, you call her, or a
Yeah,
third the size or
she looks
something.
yeah, she looks extremely small and malnutrition, and she's laser focused on what it is she's doing on this computer. And then Irving looks at the screen of his computer, and we start seeing the numbers and shit from macro data refinement. There's stuff that they usually process, and they start moving around
Like the
little like
flies that were around the computer when he got to it. Was it
yeah.
like in a
And then
jungle or something?
what do you mean?
Like when he found his desk, he was like walking through a.
Oh yeah, the trees were all half trees, and they were gnarled and leafless. They all were dead half
Okay,
trees.
yeah. So when he woke up, he was still in the snow, but it was a completely different landscape than he had fallen asleep in. The trees were all different, right? And then he walked through and he
Yeah,
found like the computer screen had flies around it. Like there was
yeah,
like
it
big,
was a couple
yeah.
of flies on it.
So and then the numbers on the screen started to move around like the flies were moving. It was a man, what a dream sequence! What a crazy
Yeah,
like
no, that was
weird,
dope.
so dope, yeah. And
And
the
but
weird bride thing was creepy. Like what the fuck is this show, man?
yeah, no, it's a great show. That's
It's great. It's
so,
fantastic.
so the numbers start moving and
Right.
they swirling, and then they start taking odd shapes. I think I saw a human eye form at some point,
Okay.
and then they tried to make you have a seizure like one of the old Pokemon cartoons from the early 2000s. We didn't have a strobe effect warning at the beginning of this episode. Screw you guys. Um, but then you had, was it like a small jump scare or something? Didn't like the bride like pop up next to him or some shit like that?
There might have been something. I don't know if she popped up next to him. Maybe it was something like that. But they did the weird like strobe effect kind of thing where she was
Right.
typing and then she was yeah. Again, we only watched it once and then we just got on here and started doing
Right.
this. Right.
But she definitely was working. The numbers was doing some crazy shit, and Irving started panicking, like he was scared of what he was seeing on the screen. And then the last little jump scare thing, it wasn't really like a horror movie jump scare. It was kind of like a bad dream jump scare. He wakes up and he's back on the rock. The sun is out now. He gets up and goes on his way. They
And
show
just
Helly. No, they show Mark wake up.
right. And then he's looking for
Oh,
help.
stop.
Go
I
ahead.
have to ask this. Did you notice that at the very moment that Irving laid down in the snow, Helly reacted physically? Like she had just got spoken to in an earpiece or something that you didn't see?
No.
Bro,
So
as
that
soon as
that
we
scene
get
where
off
like when
this,
they were going back and forth and then because he laid down and then they were kind of cutting back and forth between her and Mark talking. Is that what
yeah,
you mean? Okay.
yeah, and the very moment that Irving gave up and laid down on a rock, Helly was like, And then she went and then she started talking to Mark, and she was about to confess that she wasn't Helly, but his dumbass kissed her.
Yep.
Because she was like, I didn't like who I was on the outside. And he was like, who were you? And then she was about to say something. He was like, I don't care who you are out there. I care about who you are in here with me. And
Right.
then he kissed her. He cut her off. I think in that moment, she was like, okay, I got rid of Irving, but I still got to move this thing forward. I think the whole thing was a setup. She got up early. Okay, the next scene, Mark is waking up.
Right.
He's in the tent by himself. He starts looking for Helly. Helly, Helly, Helly. He walks outside. Dylan is coming out of his tent, and he's like, Irving never came back last night. I don't know where he is.
Right.
Mark is like, Helly's gone too. Okay, so they instantly start Milchick, Helly. They screaming for them, and then we cut to Helly is standing in front of the hollow,
Right. In front of the waterfall.
staring at it and waiting for
Sacred,
Irving.
essentially, on her family's sacred ground.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it appeared like, given what transpired, I think she was waiting for Irving,
Okay.
because Irving is standing behind her 2 trees back, and he's looking at her, and I half expected her to say good morning, Irving, before he even spoke. But
Yeah, but
he
did
asked
she?
her, you
But
know
did
what?
she? Did she jump as if she was like startled by his presence? I
No,
don't remember. No.
not at
Okay.
all.
So I
Not at
remember
all.
she kind of turned around and she was like, "Oh, Irving."
Yeah,
Like,
she turned around and she started talking to him, and he confronted her again about her identity, and he basically told her why he know she can't be Helly, because one, Helly would never be that mean, and Helly would never be that mean, and you you were well, who could have the authority to get their Audi down here with the Severed to the
yeah,
I don't
Irvin
know if
puts
he
it together. Irv puts it.
yeah,
He
he put
puts
the
the
whole
puzzle
shit
pieces
together.
together. Right.
But when he did that, she kind of is that the point when she made the face?
A little bit. There was another point though. It was the point where he like confronted her like in the tent when
Right,
she like came into to him to like show him an
right.
animal or something like that, and that's when her face like changed. But like
Oh,
she did
okay,
it again here.
right. She
She
came and gave
totally
him the
did it
frozen
again
shield.
in this confrontation.
But she rebuffed his questioning, and he grabbed her arm. And I thought that he was gonna take her in the cave, but right as she starts screaming and he's screaming for Milchick at the same time, continuing what he did the night before, which is calling for Milchick, because his whole motive here, he wants Helly back, and he knows this isn't
Irv
Helly.
does.
And
Yeah.
then when Milchick and Mark and Dylan show up at the top of the waterfall, he just gives all what. It's hard to transcribe what's happening when everybody's screaming at each other, but in the clarity of the situation, the parts that were clear was the fact that everybody was telling him to stop what he's doing, and he was saying, "That's not Helly. That's an Audi. She's an Audi. She's an Audi, and I want Helly back." And then he took her and he said, "I kill her," and he started pushing her head under the ice water and telling Milchick to turn her back.
Right.
And Milchick would not turn her back. He kept saying, "Let her go."
Yeah. Stop it. Let
Eventually,
her go. Yell at stop.
after about what 3 or 4 dunks,
Yep.
she said she called Milchick by his first name.
Seth, do it.
Seth, do it.
Yeah.
And then he said that was confirmation. He looked well. He didn't need confirmation. He already knew, but
He
that
knew.
was
That was
more
confirmation for everybody
confirmation.
else.
Right, that was more. And he was like, "Yes, Seth," because they don't know Milchick's name. He's just Milchick.
Right.
So he was like, "Yes, Seth, do it." So Milchick calls it in. They turn
Who
off
said
the
that? Dylan
Reaper
said that?
state. Hmm?
Who said that to Milchek? Was that Dylan that said that?
Said what?
That said his name like that. Who said that to him? Yeah,
No.
Seth through that.
Um, um,
Irv?
Irving said it.
Oh, Irv said it. Okay,
Irving
right,
said
right,
it.
right.
Yeah. So Milchik calls in on the walkie and he says, "Turn off the Glasgow block or whatever you called it."
Right. In the badass
Now,
scene, she changes back while under the water.
yeah, because he did push her back under the
He
water
did.
after he told him to turn it off or whatever.
Right.
So the transformation took. That's another dope little detail because the transformative power of water in most religions, submerging yourself in water, is supposed to be a transference from one life to the next. That's literally what christening is, baptism,
Baptism.
all of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Fuck.
Man,
Chef's kiss.
right.
Beautiful.
Seriously.
Beautiful.
Right. Really, really good
Beautiful.
stuff. Right. So then you get
But
that sort of her like the change under the water. So like
right.
he's yanking Helly up out of this freezing cold water. She hasn't existed for what 6 months now.
Months it should be about 6 months. And I was telling my wife, which was funny about that part, because I laughed. I said, "Now you got to remember, the last thing she remembered was being at a fucking function where
At the
she was
gala, right?
screaming her lungs out about how the innies are being treated poorly, and they need to do something about it.
Right.
And then she's been gone, and the next thing you know, somebody's pulling her up out of a goddamn frozen lake.
Frozen lake, and that's it. She and her response was great. She's like, "What's happening?"
Like, what's
Like, what the
happening?
fuck?
But Irving was so happy to have Helly back because
Yeah,
these are their family members. They
essentially,
don't
but
know anything but each other.
and
So, yeah, he was happy to have Helly back. Mark is looking confused as hell. Dylan is still. Dylan was frozen in disbelief. He never even came down from the top of the waterfall. Milchick is pissed off,
right.
and Mark is
Well,
confused, but he's concerned about Helly.
he's real. What's his name? Realizes that he fucked up by not believing his friend Irv.
Yeah,
He
Dylan was
wrote
just like,
Irv off, and he realized at that moment that's like, oh fuck, Irv, I'm sorry. He
yeah,
yelled to him, "I'm sorry. I should have listened."
yeah.
You know.
Now Dylan, I mean, sorry, Milchick and Mark make it down to the water side with Irving and Helly R Helly,
Mm-hmm.
and
Helena is
um,
her name on the outside.
right now, Irving at this point explains to them she's an Egan.
Yeah.
She's an Egan. That's what's going on. She's an Egan. Is that wasn't Helly in the first place. Milchick at this point assassinates Irving.
Well, he reads him as like sentences too. Like he tells him, "You've attempted." Did he? He didn't say capital murder, did he?
He said something. I
You
forgot
attempted
what
capital murder.
term he
You
used.
don't get a trial. You don't get a review.
On
You
hallowed
don't get.
ground.
You don't get nothing. You
You don't. You
get
don't.
your result of your actions is immediate and permanent. What dismissal or whatever
Yeah.
you put it.
You can't. You can't come back either.
Right.
Basically, you are dead. So that's
Irving
why.
Irving in the inside
Yeah. Any
is
Irving
gone.
is now a dead man, and this was the first death of a main character that we've gotten on the show.
It's
ob-
essentially
Obviously,
we know he's not. Well, Irv and any Irv, yes, but he could still come back. He's not
uh,
gone because Audi Irv is still alive,
no, no,
so
no,
he's
no.
not
I wasn't
permanently
saying
gone.
that
But
Audi
yes,
Irving dead. I'm saying that.
it was still a very emotional moment, though, dude. You
No,
still
I don't think
felt
he's
that
coming back.
as a death of a character.
Oh no,
You don't think any
again,
Irv's ever coming back?
no. There's no more any Irv.
Yeah, the
I
way
think
they
what
did it was I'm prone to agree with you because of the way that that send off was that of a death of a main character.
yeah,
It was that emotional.
this was reminiscent of Tyree or Tyrone from The Walking Dead. The episode more or less centered around him and the visions he was seeing as he turned into a zombie, and eventually they had to put him down.
Yeah.
Uh, this was Irving seeing his old boyfriend again, and also we did see Christopher Walken's character stalking him on the outside uh, before. I can't remember
I
if it
thought it
was
was the other
episode
way
two.
around.
Yeah, so he was watching. So we know that you're not gonna fire him. He's one of our greatest actors of all time. He's gonna be back on the show, but that
So,
aspect of his character is dead now.
so do you think
Uh,
but do you think he's gonna, like, Audi Irv is going to wonder why and try to dig into why, especially with all
yeah,
the shit that
and
he was
they
having? So,
already laid the tracks for it already, with showing Christopher Walken is interested in what he's doing too.
okay,
You know what I'm saying? So
right.
that's how they're gonna bring Walken back into it, and that's how they're gonna bring Audi Irv back into the fold
So do you
because
think
we're
Walken or Bert is having visions, for
yeah, he's
lack of a
probably
better
thinking about
term?
Irv.
Yeah, and he's remembering Irv, and
Yeah,
the same way Irv was having the obviously he was having some sort of visions from inside with the paintings of the
right.
hallway and all that. So yeah, so but then
Yeah.
it goes out and he what did he says is that cold ass line at the end, man. It was it dug deep, dude. It did. Some enjoy the 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 cold darkness, or the eternal darkness, or something like that, he said. And it was just like,
And may
oof, like it
Egan's
just
mercy be upon you, or something like that.
yeah, he gave him a line. It was I can't remember the exact line, but it was cold. It was real cold.
Now, we did not address the fact that there was a standoff between Milchick and Irving before that line. Milchick was ordering Irving to stand up because at this point they're doing it like an execution. This is what I'm saying. Like he's fired by
Right.
any other standard, but this person is dying. He's saying, "Stand up. You're gonna be executed. Walk into the forest." You know what I'm saying? Walk into the
Right.
woods.
Yeah.
And when he told him to walk into the woods, he went to the walkie. And here's what I wanted to talk about. That's why I said I want to wait till we got to that part.
Sure.
He went to walkie and he said, "Do it now." And you see they shut him down. My question to you is this: when they shut him down, Audi Irving would not have popped up in that moment.
Why not though?
Why in the hell would they
Hell, he
let
did.
him be on? Hell, he did what?
Just immediately was Helly R. As soon as he hit the
Yeah, no, no,
button.
no, no, no. But here's my point, though. I think this is why I was saying that's why I wanted to wait till we get to the point,
Okay.
because Helly can do that. She's the boss.
So
She can be a fake any or whatever the hell she want to do. Her interacting with the innies is not against their protocol because she's the boss.
okay.
Irving is an outsider. He is no longer an employee.
So you think he just goes
Why would
dark until they carry him out?
I think they either he goes dark or they was in a simulation, because I couldn't get over the fact. Well, they couldn't have been in a simulation because he was trying to drown her, and they reacted to it as though she actually could drown. So it couldn't have been a simulation. So they had to actually be in
I think they
actual
were.
danger.
I think they were physically there. Honestly.
Yeah. So yeah, they there. So then maybe they just put him out and he's sleeping and they just removed him from the building, and he wakes up in his car.
Yeah. See, I'm wondering how that's going to play out. I think maybe we might get that at the very beginning of the next episode, because, like, because how do they explain that? That's a good question. Like, what
Right.
happens there? Because normally
Imagine
they
you
just,
you
like, in my mind, as far as the precedents that the show has set so far, Audi Irv is standing there perfectly awake.
right, but that's my thing. That's my thing. The
But
same thing is the Audis aren't supposed to ever see the inside of the company, and also that would be a loose end that would damn near be impossible to tie up.
right.
Because imagine you go to
So
work,
so
you
there has
walk
to.
in, you say what's up to the security guy, you go in the elevator, and then you wake up standing in the fucking forest. You turn around to see some lady who looked like she damn near just got drowned. There's a holy waterfall. You don't know it's holy, but it's this holy land, right? Like, you're gonna go out and talk about
You
this
can be
shit,
like,
and
what
you
the
got
fuck is
fired. You
going
got no,
on? Right.
yeah, you gonna get. So I think they had to have put him to sleep at the very least.
So then there's some sort of protocol for that then.
Yeah,
That
you know
like
what? Speaking of, the question is already answered. We know it's a protocol for that because every character's orientation, they wake up on that table. So they had to get from the elevator to that conference room. You know what I mean? Like
fair.
when
On
you,
their first day, they wake up on the
yeah,
table. They don't
they
come they
wake up
don't
on the
wake
table.
up in the elevator right on the first day. That's a
Exactly.
very good point. They
Yeah. So
wake up on the
there's
table
something
on
there
day
for that.
one. So yeah, there is a
Yeah.
precedent set for them being moved while they're unconscious
Yeah. So
or
no, that's
being
gonna be
made
interesting to
unconscious.
see.
But yeah, I mean, with this thing inside their brain, who knows what they could fucking do to you? You have a
Yeah.
machine. You have something inserted into your fucking lobe, or whatever the fuck you want to call it.
Well, yeah. Without beating a dead horse too much, I want to ask a question about that. Do you? I want to ask your opinion on that.
Sure.
Do you think that they could give you dreams?
Well, that's it's and so like it's along the lines of a simulation, but like that was kind of like what I was trying to explain when me and my wife were talking about like what is it a simulation? Are they inside the building physically? I said something like that. Well, maybe they're just giving them this experience through that machine in their brain,
Mm.
through the pill or whatever the fuck that is through the severance device. Maybe they can do that. They're definitely expressing now more control over, like you said. You just pointed out the table. Now we're finding out Irv Heli was activated right there by walkie-talkie. You know, with the glass glow blocker. Turn off the glass glow blocker.
Mm-hmm.
So like yeah, there's definitely exercising more control over this thing than they should have. And there's the overtime contingency thing, the OTC or whatever he called it.
Get the
So
fuck
like
out of here.
so they can do
Good.
whatever. What's up? Something related to the show? Or are you just having an ADD moment?
The Glasgow Coma Scale
Okay.
is the Glasgow Coma Scale is a clinical scale used to reliably measure a person's level of consciousness after brain injury. It assesses eye movement, speech, body movement, and often used to gauge the severity of acute brain injuries due to trauma or medical reasons. So, not using it in the strictest of definitions,
But
just
yeah,
kind of like a
but still it's
related
related.
to it. The fact that they even went that far
But it was
to,
glass glow blocker is what he said.
yeah,
The
that's what I'm saying.
blocker.
Like the fact that they even went that far to associate that with something that somebody actually does in medical terms. That's fucking you can't do nothing but appreciate it, man. These people did they reading, they did they writing,
Oh, 100%.
they did a good job.
It's a very well put together show.
Yeah.
As far as like, I know you were telling me to watch From. I got to go back and watch that. But like, this is a good turn of pace from the shit that I usually watch. I'm usually into, I don't know, wizards, dragons, spaceships, cartoons, all that kind of shit. As far as like the like the escapism, you know what I'm saying? Like take me to different universes, different worlds, which this show is kind of doing, but it's also very based in like that like drudge of like the working in an office job every day. Like they really nailed that feeling, you know what I'm saying? And then dialed it
Mm-hmm.
up to the what did I call it when we were on this like delightful uncomfortableness that this show
Mm.
creates is fantastic.
I just want to also point out real quick,
Hmm.
we only went through the first chapter of book 4 of the Egan Dieter whatever the fuck that
Oh, I thought what's his name was
installment.
reading chapter 2. I thought
N-
Milchek read
Uh,
chapter 2 out loud, and then he
well,
said
I don't know if he ever specifically said it was 2 or 1 or 3 or what. I do remember he was right at the beginning of the book though
he did say
when he
that
stopped.
maybe
And
like basically like if you're good, I'll read the next part in the morning. I
right,
thought he
we'll
said the
read the
next
next
chapter.
part.
Okay.
Yeah, so I don't know if we'll be getting that anytime soon, given that one of them just tried to murder Helly.
And then was basically taken off the board himself.
Yeah, and it removed him completely. So do you think that we get Mark S back or Mark W or whatever his name was?
Oh, the guy that was throwing Mark W, the guy that was like throwing a fit out in
Yeah.
front of the building after he was let go because the
Bring
plan to
back
give
the other
Mark a new
Mark.
team. Yeah. Oh man.
Oh man. It's gonna be
Um,
crazy. It's gonna be crazy to see where they have to take it from here, man.
well, yeah,
It's gonna be
because this
crazy.
episode was something like, holy shit! Take it out of the like, not a single shot inside of the sets that we normally see in this show. No
And it felt
office,
like
no
it
nothing.
felt it felt on the scale of a season finale, which is scary because
Because this is
if
because what? How many
if
episodes are in the
that
season? Eight
what was that
or
4? What was that? That was
that
4,
was
right?
episode 4, right? That felt like a
So that's
mid-season
just
finale.
if that's just 4.
What do we got
Holy
coming?
shit.
I'm excited though
Holy
because it these last 2 episodes were fantastic, and this one especially. Like, I love that they stepped outside of the box with it and went to the middle of nowhere. The company retreat thing was good. What Ortbo or whatever, the team bonding uh, outing or whatever he called it.
mm-hmm.
There's a couple of things that made me laugh too. Like, I laughed at it. Oh, when in the video, when they were watching the video at the beginning of the episode, and
Okay.
he said something about Dieter Egan, and Dylan was like, "Who the fuck is Dieter Egan?" And it was like a pause, and he was like, "Dieter Egan." I was
Right, Dieter
like,
Egan, like he knew somebody was gonna question who is Dieter
right,
Egan.
because he left a pause in there in the video for it too. That was great,
He literally paused for
right?
applause.
Dude,
Oh my
Yeah,
god,
Zach
yeah, no,
Cherry
that was
kills it
silly.
too. That dude is awesome. His line delivery of the like his what the fucks are great. Like, what the fuck? Like he always says what we're thinking as the viewers
Let
of
me
the
ask you
show.
this:
You know,
is this Cobell's ticket back in without having to suffer whatever the fuck she was about to suffer in the last episode? Does Milchick lose his spot for this?
ooh,
I
that is a
mean,
way for her back in.
you almost got the head of the company's daughter killed, bro. You could have set up a tent right next to them and went to sleep right there.
Yeah, man. So you know what though, in the next couple episodes we might get then what you were predicting about his
Oh, showing more
exit,
about Milchick's life.
getting a little Milchek episode, and then an end to Milchek by the end of that episode. You
What
know,
if what if the next episode is like, well, I don't want to make too many guesses on what's going on because I'm
I
gonna
mean,
be
why not? We're
wildly
fucking
wrong.
well.
But
Listen, there's no way that either one of us, any matter of discussion we would have had, would have led us to like they're gonna be in the middle of nowhere in like a camping situation.
they're gonna be on a frozen
There's no
pond
calling that. I'm
with a
sorry, I don't care who the fuck you
with a
are.
magical
There's
waterfall.
nobody that saw that coming.
Nah, nobody thought that Irving would take to physical violence. That just came out of nowhere. Even in that scene, I was like, "Oh shit, Irv
It's
wilding." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
it
what are
was.
you doing, bro? Like,
I thought he stabbed her for a second, and I was like, "Oh wait," because
I
it
swear,
usually isn't
I
this kind of show that we're watching usually. And when he grabbed her, the way that they used that camera, it made it look like he like
yeah,
stuck her with
they went
something.
right. They
But
went right like stomach level, and it looked like that was what was happening. But
right,
yeah,
but he
it
just
was
like
weird,
reached and
man. It
grabbed
was
her
weird.
arm. It was a credit to the show, credit to everybody that's worked on it. It's got my attention. I'm looking forward to Fridays when the episode
These are the
drops.
people who made wait, these people didn't make shit before that we know.
I'm
I'm
not sure,
thinking
man.
about
It was like season 5. It was like season 5 productions. I don't know. There might be. You'd have to look up the writers and stuff like that. There's probably somebody that worked on like fucking Lost or something on it. I bet.
yeah. Well, yeah, no,
Oh no, they're working
this
on
was
From, right?
yeah, the From people worked on
Oh, this
Lost.
is Ben Stiller, dude.
Ben Stiller made the show. Yeah,
Right.
he But yeah, no, this was pretty cool. I thought it was a dope ass episode. I'm looking forward to what comes next. With a show like this, is almost idiotic to even try to make a prediction, but I
It
will
really is.
anyway.
Well, I mean, I guess like when you look back on it, like predicting that Helly wasn't Helly was like, all right, yeah, they were kind of shoving that in our face.
Yeah, they was
That
really
was an
just like
easy one. That was
spelling
an
that
easy
out.
one, yeah. But like as far
But
as
yeah,
like
it's
what
like
were
you can't think because I still don't know it. You're not firing these actors,
oh
so
no,
they're still
yo,
a
you're
part
talking
of the show.
Christopher Walken and John Turturro are two.
John Turturro,
Jesus
Christopher
Christ,
Walken, Patricia Arquette, these people are not leaving this show. They're big name actors. They might not be
and they're
the
part
young
of the
hot
core
people in
cast
Hollywood.
of the show, man.
Yeah, but these folks ain't going nowhere. So it's
Right.
like, what exactly is going to happen moving forward? And I want to see how they fold everything back together. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got, man. That
I think
was a
that's it
dope
too.
ass
Yeah,
episode.
it was dope. I can't wait till next Friday when the next one comes out. I'm super excited. But yeah, hey, let us know what everybody else. If you got comments or you got predictions or anything like that, put them in the comments below. Let us know what you think. Any engagement is appreciated with the video. And yeah, we'll see you for the next one, man. We'll be out. Is today Friday? We managed to get it done the same day. Let's do that. We'll try to do that next
Yeah,
Friday.
we can do that.
So yeah,
Yep.
look
All
for the
right.
next one, man. Right after the next episode. So we'll see you then.
Deuces.
Yep.